Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask, Learn, Grow, where the Reef team answer questions, share insights, and discuss topics from the digital marketing industry. Joined today with Matt Yeadon, Head of Performance Media at Reef, and we're going to talk about bid strategies. And we have mentioned bid strategies in a recent video too, but we're going to take this a level deeper in this video, and we're going to go through each bid strategy and have a look at the pros and cons and ins and outs of each one. So, Matt, do you want to take over and lead the way into the first one? Cool.
So like Scott said, I'll dig into each of the bidding strategies that are available in Google Ads platforms. I won't be looking at stuff available in DoubleClick or Canshi or Marin or even Bing for that matter. It's purely just Google Ads bid strategies. I'll go through the top 5 that we use. There are others that I'll mention right at the end of the video, but these are the 5 most common ones that we use. What we tend to get asked are, what are bidding strategies? What are they good for? And kind of what are the pitfalls we see with bidding strategies as a whole? So with that said, the ones I'll look at is Enhanced CPC, which is kind of a bidding strategy light introduction, followed by Maximise Conversions, Maximise Clicks, Target CPA, and then Target ROAS. So to begin with, we'll kind of just jump into Enhanced CPC.
Cool.
Enhanced CPC, this is kind of the first step into the world of automated bidding. It kind of works like other bidding strategies like Max Conversions, which I'll talk about, in that Google works out the likelihood that a single user is going to convert on whatever conversion point you've set up for the account, based on a multitude of factors. Some of those factors might be previous websites that you've explored, things that you've shown interest in, where you've been, apps that you might use, but it'll also take into consideration people who have converted, what do their behavior patterns look like online. So this is kind of the first step. And the reason I say it's the first step is it still allows for some manual bidding. So you can still set a ceiling bid limit or a ceiling CPC on your keywords, but then kind of hand the reins over to Google a little bit to say, hey, you're free to move the bid up and down as you so please within a minimal and a maximal range. So that's kind of the first foray into bidding strategies. Downside to those is you're still doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of your bids. So you're still determining, do I want to spend $12 or do I want to kind of bring that down to $6? You're still doing a lot of times actually invested into adjusting your bidding strategy, your CPC bids on individual keywords, which is the advantage of a lot of the other bidding strategies. So that's Enhanced CPC.
Cool. So where would you go from next? What's the next one, the kind of natural progression to talk about in terms of the next bidding strategy?
So the next one would be Maximise Conversions. This is what Google calls a fully automated, fully machine learning driven bidding strategy. The key difference with this one is it takes away your ability to do manual bid adjustments. That's stripped out of the account completely. All you need to do is give the campaign a daily budget, say $250 a day, a daily budget, and what your conversion goal is. And the account will optimize towards that conversion goal. Just right, as it says in the name, Maximise Conversions, once again, as many conversions through as possible, while spending your daily budget. Downside to this bidding strategy though is you need to have Google Analytics set up correctly, and you need your tagging in place. If any of your conversions aren't firing properly, they're not set up or configured correctly, that means you're going to see worse performance on a Maximise Conversion bid strategy. The other is you have no control over CPCs anymore. You can see in some industry verticals, like say, for example, finance, your CPC bids, where it's a very competitive market, if Google thinks that someone's going to convert, it'll drive that CPC up to $100, $200, and you won't be able to do anything about it except pull your daily spend down, which is another downside. Changing your daily budget also causes the bidding algorithm to go into a learning period again. And the learning period for these things, for these bidding algorithms, is about 3 to 5 days, where it's working on your account, working out how much to spend per day, what an average user looks like who's going to convert, a whole bunch of different metrics it takes into consideration. That'll reset your learning phase for the account again. So that's Maximise Conversions. really handy at getting you as many conversions as possible, but your tagging needs to be set up correctly. You need to ensure that you're feeding it good quality data and you're not making too many adjustments to your overall campaign budgets. Otherwise, it's going to reset it.
Really good considerations there, because I think quite a lot of people might look at that and say, maximize conversions. Well, yeah, I want as many conversions as possible, so that's got to be the right one. Yeah, maybe. There's some important considerations like you've just highlighted. The CPCs and the budget. So it's thinking about all those different details when you've decided on the right, most appropriate bid strategy. Cool. Okay, so what's the next bid strategy that we want to break down?
Following on from this, usually it's target CPA. So Maximise Conversions is really good for a brand new account. Say you've been running Enhanced CPC for a month or two, and then you transition to Maximise Conversions. The next one that you'd want to test out is target CPA. So target CPA, just as it says in the name, you just want to target a particular CPA for your campaign. So that'll work to optimize your campaigns towards that goal. What Google will do is just optimize our bids. So same thing, we hand away the ability to control our bids. That goes straight over to Google to drive performance in line with our goal CPA. What you'll find, where a lot of people tend to get a bit nervous, is some days, say I've set a CPA of $150, some days that might be $250 that you get as your CPA average. But the next day it might be $100. The important thing with all these bidding strategies is not to look at them on a daily basis. It's to look at them on a monthly basis to see if it's hitting its target. Daily adjustments to these accounts just don't work, and the Google Ads platform has been gradually moving away from daily budget or daily adjustments to monthly ones. Keep an eye on the CPA target throughout a whole month rather than a single day, because there will be days where it'll spend more and get you a CPA that's double what you're aiming for, but the long-term trend will balance out. That's how the account will balance out over the long haul.
And would it be right in saying that also it's even if CPA isn't necessarily too important to you, therefore you think that Maximise Conversions might be better, it's still good to experiment and test between the different strategies, because to get the highest level of performance from the campaigns. Yeah,
absolutely. So testing, definitely. What I'd recommend doing is, if you're running Maximise Conversions already, run target CPA as an experiment against max conversions, and then see if you get a better CPA performance out of your target CPA campaign.
Great advice.
If you do, great. I wouldn't blanket roll this out. A lot of this stuff needs to be done slow and steady. It's not something where you can just flick a switch and turn it on. It's also not a magician. You can't give it a ridiculous CPA. So if running Maximise Conversions, if you're getting $150 CPA, don't run a target CPA campaign with a $20 target. Yeah. That won't work. I've seen so many people do that. It won't work. Gradually nudge it down over the long term. It's all about long-term gains, not very short term. The account will spiral out of control if you do that. So just slow and steady in the account and experiment often. Always experiment.
The scalpel rather than the axe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and what's the next bidding strategy we want to break down?
So next one is target ROAS, or target return on ad spend. This is nearly identical to target CPA, but instead we're looking at a return on ad spend. Here Google's predicting future conversion performance and conversion value performance. With this strategy though, we can set a minimum and maximum bid limits, which is great. We can still tell Google, hey, I don't want to spend $200 on a finance keyword. However, Google don't recommend we do that, but there are some instances where the client might push back and say, look, we just don't have the budget to spend on a $200 CPC. So definitely use it with caution, because if you do have bids in there with a ceiling limit, that's going to impede the bidding algorithm's progress. It won't be able to bid as efficiently as it usually would. So that would probably be the downside to it, is you can change your bid limits, but in doing so, you do restrict the machine learning algorithm's capacity to optimize the account.
Cool. And the next bidding strategy, please, sir.
Finally, it's Maximise Clicks. So Maximise Clicks, name gives it away. Google will just try to give you as many clicks as possible with paid search. So this is great for accounts where their primary KPI is click volume. and might not necessarily have a conversion attached to it. It's also great for accounts that might not have their conversion tracking in place yet. It's still in the process of being set up, but they need to get traffic through to the site quickly. This is a great bidding algorithm to do that. So you can just apply that and get as much traffic through as possible. It's also helpful. We do a lot of Google Grants accounts. So it's actually helpful for getting a lot of Google Grants activity through to the website, because just having a bidding strategy on the account will remove that $2 CPC cap that Google has. So it's a great way to get traffic through. Downside to it, obviously, though, is it's optimizing towards people who are likely to click an ad. So we'll bid very aggressively to get as much traffic through to the site as possible, but it may sacrifice conversion performance, and it may sacrifice the quality of the click that you're actually getting. So that would be the downside to Maximise Clicks.
So, like you said before, the key's experimentation. Well, first of all, choosing the strategy that fits your specific business case and objectives and commercial metrics, but then experimenting using the scalpel over time, very slow, monitored, calculated changes. And if you do that skillfully, then the performance of the account should continue to increase until you get to a point where you've got a really strong, efficiently run account using the most appropriate bid strategy.
Exactly.
Cool. Anything else to add just before we wrap this up?
There are other bidding strategies that haven't been included. So you've got other ones that like target impression share, which is you want to go for a particular percentage of impression share, target search page location, so where you want to appear in the SERP, target outranking share, and then cost per 1,000 viewable impressions, which is more appropriate for, say, something like YouTube or display. With all the bidding strategies, like Scott said, highly suggest you experiment first. So experiment often with any of the bidding strategies. They are a useful tool, but they are just a tool, and sometimes they're not suitable for the job. So always test and learn with the accounts and see how things go. And keep it slow and steady. Don't just blanket roll them out on all the accounts and expect to see overnight success. It's a very slow, methodical approach that you need to take.
Great stuff. Solid advice there, Matt. Thanks a lot for your time today. That wraps up today's call. So if anyone's got any questions about bid strategies or anything digital marketing related, please feel free to get in touch, and we'll see what we can do. If you've got any questions you'd like to see the team answer in a future video, send them in and we'll see if we can schedule that in for you too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of when the next video is available. Apart from that, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.